Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. It's Wednesday. My name is Frank Holder. I'm here with Talent. I'm here with Fig, two comedians who you guys have known from Def Comedy Jam. They've also been filmed. They've been in television. They've been in commercials. They've been in the business for 25, 30 plus years. They know comedy. But on this show, we do comedy with sports. So let me just jump off right now and just start just a tad bit of baseball, just to get that baseball out of the way. The Braves came back and the Braves took game one over the Dodgers 5-1, but the news dropped about an hour ago that Clayton Kershaw just got scratched. He was supposed to pitch tonight for game two. The Dodgers are favored to win the whole World Series. They might not even get to the World Series, and we know how that goes when we talk about people who's supposed to win. And Tampa Bay has now have 2 games over on the Astros. So that's even something big too, because Tampa Bay isn't really supposed to do that much against the Astros. But now let's talk about something I want to talk about real fast. And I want to talk about the NBA. There was an NFL game. We'll talk about the NFL, but let me talk about the NBA real fast. News just dropped that Ty Lue is involved with talking to the Clippers and the Rockets. Meanwhile, Houston had a meeting with Jeff Van Gundy, and sources are saying that Houston might land Jeff Van Gundy, and Tyronn Lue might actually sign on with the Houston Rockets. Now, I want to ask you guys both that. Will that change the landscape, in the West? Because we all know how Ty Lue coaches, and we all know how Jeff Van Gundy coaches. Will that change the landscape in the West with those two guys add on? Now, because you also count, I'm throwing out to you, because they're not just going to come on and coach and not bring some pieces with them. You know what I mean? They're bringing right. They're going to get some players. They're going to do that. And especially with the Houston signing, you know what I mean? That could be pretty huge. But anyway, Talent, the floor is yours. What you think?
Well, I think somebody's gone over there.
Yeah.
When you bring in that kind of powerful coaching, like you said, they're coming with their own culture, their own ideas, their own personnel. I think the only guy there that we all probably would bet that is untouchable is Harden. It's his team. He's the guy that they're banking on. But hey, Westbrook and them other guys may be movable now. I love that. I love that combination though. Mm-hmm. We were sitting here talking all this coaching stuff, not even putting together that 2 head possibilities could come together as a coaching team on one team.
Yeah, could be.
Very interesting. I like it.
It could be. But Fig, if Ty Lue jumps up and he lands, let's say Ty Lue, because he's talking to the Clippers and he's talking to the Rockets. Jeff Van Gundy might actually land with the Rockets. If Ty Lue lands with the Clippers, do you see the Clippers getting really far in the West and possibly getting to the NBA Finals? Do you see that with Ty Lue's addition? Because like I said, with talent just now, there are going to be some additions to the team. There's going to be some additions to the coaching staff that Ty Lue's going to make. He might even keep the entire coaching staff that they already had there intact, and do what he does. What's your thoughts?
Man, let me tell you something, man. I am completely and utterly frustrated by this entire news, man. Because first off, Jeff Van Gundy is ours. He's a Knick. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want Jeff Van Gundy coaching any other team other than the Knicks. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't care if he goes to Houston. I hope the whole state of Houston catches on fire if Jeff Van Gundy goes there. I can't stand the fact that one of our coaches would go and coach another team. You understand? Ty Lue could go. We don't care about Ty Lue. Let him go. He's the one that Iverson stepped over in the finals. They stepped right over Ty Lue, and everybody else needs to continue stepping over Tyronn Lue. You understand what I'm saying? But Jeff Van Gundy is a New York Knickerbocker, and he's going to stay a New York Knickerbocker until he dies.
Okay, well,
death do us part. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Chandler, let me ask you this, bro. If Jeff Van Gundy comes in and he actually signs on with Houston Rockets, like it looks like he actually might, do you think Jeff Van Gundy is going to be possible land some GM type of position also? And do you think he's going to move one of the stars, Westbrook or Russell or Harden? Do you think he's going to do something like that? What do you expect him to do to shake up? You see him doing?
Well, even if it's not in season 1 with his first season at the job, it's going to come at least in the off season of season 2. You said something very interesting though. A guy like a Jeff Van Gundy, who's proven coach, that's taken such a long hiatus from coaching. he would have to be considered to go into GM.
Mhm.
You know, and nowadays what they're doing with this dual position thing is they're allowing you to do both now, depending on your stature.
Yeah.
With your resume and stature, you can come in and be coach and GM or coach and president, or all those titles are funny to me anyway. Like, what's the difference in the GM and the president?
Right.
But I think you bring up a great point that he will have some higher position along with that coaching if he takes that position. And I know like Jeff he's old school coach, so he's not like the new school coach might come right in and jump to change and stuff. Old school coach would come in and observe and figure what his culture, what presence is needed the most, then start making personnel moves and changes. You know what I mean?
Right. Now check this out, Fig. Check this out. Houston Talk Radio last night or this morning, I was reading the blogs and everything else, said that Jeff Van Gundy comes in, he's going hot after Serge Ibaka and Brandon Ingram right there to add to the roster. Because like I said, this is one of the years where we have a lot of free agents that'll be available. I don't even know if they're going to make that happen because I don't know, money wise and everything else, but I know it makes sense for them to get Serge Ibaka. I don't see Brandon Ingram signing there. I just don't. You know what I mean? I see him going somewhere else, like maybe Miami or something. But anyway, what's your thought process in hearing that Van Gundy would do something like that?
Here's the thing that we know about Jeff Van Gundy, and I'm gonna make a blockbuster prediction. If Jeff Van Gundy goes to Houston, I don't think James Harden stays there unless one thing happens. Unless Jeff Van Gundy talks to James Harden and they have a meeting of the minds before Jeff takes the job, and Harden knows exactly what's going to happen prior to Jeff taking the job, because the style of basketball that Harden has been used to for, I say, the last 3 or 4 years is not conducive to Jeff Van Gundy's coaching style. That beat the air out of the ball for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then pass it off at the last second, all of that, 3-point shooting and no defense. That is not going to fly with Jeff Van Gundy. I actually could see him holding on to a Russell Westbrook, you know what I mean? But to hold on to a James Harden, I'm not really sure unless Harden is willing to modify his game. Picking up a Brandon Ingram or a Serge Ibaka tells me something just along the lines of what I said is Jeff Van Gundy is looking to, solidify that defense.
Yeah,
because that's the one thing that we never really got out of Houston is the quality brand of defense, and they got rid of their big man Capella. Yeah. So he's like, we got to fix that right away, because you see, the Lakers proved it this year. They won because they were the biggest team on the floor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So everybody's talking about going small ball. You need a certain caliber of player to be able to go small ball. And unless you are the Golden State Warriors, you don't have those players. So you better go with traditional basketball.
Talent, what you think about what he just said?
Well, I think Fig is going off of what we last seen and know Jeff Van Gundy as a coach. I say it's too much of an unknown. When you take that long of a hiatus, we don't know if we're going to get the old Jeff or a new Jeff that's watched years and years of the game, you know what I mean, metamorphose into this game we have today. So remember, Jeff coached during a different time, and now the game is drastically changed. So we don't know if as Coach Brain is putting it together old school way with defense being forefront, or if he's coming in here trying to catch up and coach within the way it is already has transpired. So
yeah, but he's
that's
known
the thing to watch.
Yeah, but he's known for defense. I can't see him coming in and changing. Now, I could see him coming in right now and signing and then trading away James Harden and then trying their best to make sure that they have money, trying to make sure they got Russell Westbrook with Brandon Ingram and Serge Ibaka and the rest of the team they got. I could see that happening if that happens, if he trades away. I just can't see it.
But Frank, you got to be realistic. He's not coming back to an Eastern Conference. If he goes there, he's going to a whole conference, different conference. The game is different in general. I don't think you go to a firepower team that made their bread and butter off of the breeze. Okay, now we're going to clamp down defense. Nobody going to the West Coast with that. They may say we're going to play a little more defense, but they're not going to become this defensive icon. I don't care who the coach is. The game is different.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
Just to say something to tag on to that is that The reason that I say what I say, now he may change. He may do a 180. I don't know. But the reason I say what I say, when I listen to Jeff Van Gundy, well, actually, one of my favorite commentators when he's on with Mark Jackson, I love that back and forth between the two. He still has it. And when I hear it, it seems like his mentality is still the same. Now, maybe there's something that he's saying on the air and he's going to do a complete shift from that. But the stuff that he says and the way he's talking about what's going on the court, it still seems like he has that old school mentality. Is he going to change? I can't say that that's not possible.
What I'm saying. We don't know. I get what you're saying. I totally get where it's coming from. But again, this is a hell of a hiatus. So whenever you bring up somebody back, I don't care if it's a coach or a player, a hiatus, when you have time, and he's sitting in a commentator seat for years, so he has time to he lived this this transference. It didn't happen and he woke up and it was different. He lived through it. Now, as a commentator, it's like what we do. It's 99% opinionated. But when you got to go and apply something and teach something to somebody, whole different ballgame. I can look at a comic and break it down why he's corny. But can I go in there and make him funny?
Good point. Good point. All right. Well, you know what? Instead of me continuing to go on and continue on about who, what, when, where, and why.
Oh, yes.
Let's ask WNBA, Miss Ashley Battle, what her thought process is on just basically this whole thing. Because right now, first of all, WNBA superstar we have right there, New York Liberty, UConn, USA basketball. That's Miss Ashley Battle. Last time we spoke to her, she was in the bubble. First of all, Ashley, I'm sure you're pretty happy to be out the bubble.
No doubt.
And I'm sure you're pretty happy the Lakers won. I want to talk about the Lakers in a second, but the news just broke about Jeff Van Gundy and Tyronn Lue. So we were having a discussion to get you up to speed. We were having a discussion about Tyronn Lue head coaching the Clippers and Jeff Van Gundy head coaching the Rockets. And what would Van Gundy do? Because we all know the Rockets not the greatest on defense. What do you expect? What can you see Jeff Van Gundy coming in there and making some changes? Would they be drastic, or would he trade one of the superstars? What's the first thought that comes in your head when you hear about Van Gundy and the Rockets?
Well, the first thought that comes in my head when I hear Van Gundy is the fact that he used to coach the Knicks. And so when you think about the teams that he's coached in the past, they've always been hard-nosed, gritty, tough. So I think when he gets in there, I think one of the things he's going to want to establish is, some toughness defensively, because, we've all seen it. Houston actually improved defensively this year, but with them trading Capella, they struggled with, especially when the Lakers played them in the playoffs and they have the bigs in there, they had no answers. They had no answers for them. So I think, one of the things that they'll probably look to do is, probably change the system up a little bit too. I think James Harden will still have the freedom to be James Harden, but, probably reeling it in a little bit, you don't have to take as many threes when you have an open layup. You don't have to take as many threes when you have a wide open mid-range jump shot. Hindered Houston in the past is that, they were so three focused that, sometimes you just need to get a bucket.
Well said. Well, Ashley, the word is on the boards and everything else. The talk is, I'm in the press, so I hear a lot of rumblings. Word is that they're going to go hot after Serge Ibaka. So, it could change them if they end up landing, if they're able to land them anyway. But, Talon, you got a question for Ashley?
Well, first of all, my apologies to Mom.
Yeah, she is. She is. When I tell you, as soon as the Lakers won, and she was like, "You need to call your friends right now. They owe me an apology, And Talent, you were one of the first people I text.
Yeah, what's crazy about that? I'm in the bar watching the game in real time, and that's the last text I expected. I see Ashley's name pop up. I said, "Oh, hey, what Ashley talking about?" Mom said, I said, then I forgot all about it. I felt so crazy. So anyway, let me I'm glad we got you on the show because I want to dip left and I want to go talk about some WNBA because I was overwhelmingly happy for Sue Bird.
Oh yeah, that's definitely me too.
Let me tell you, and her poise, her composure. You talk about a class act. That's your homie. So a person. I've never personally met her, but it resonates through the screen, no matter what TV or computer screen you're watching, that she's this genuine class act.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, championships from Olympic medals to college to NBA 4-time, and MVPs and all that stuff. Give the fans an insight of, if you had like one sentence or two sentences to describe Sue Bird. How is she that person? Does she come off? Is she that person? Because she comes off the beat.
Yeah, Sue's always been great. I've known Sue for a long time now. We played 2 years together at UConn, and then we also played together in Seattle. So she's just a real genuine person. What you see is what you get with her, and she's always been honest, a good friend. She's funny, and gives like really good advice. And she's just good people. I've been blessed to been surrounding myself with really great people, and she's definitely one of them.
She's very funny because when in the post interview, right, everybody's still celebrating, and she's sitting there. And what's the tall young lady's name? I think
Brianna
she's like she's their new star. So she comes over and like blasts her with confetti. So Sue's in the middle of answering these questions professionally and goes, and the confetti comes in. She goes, 1 minute, let her do her thing. And then the confetti goes, and then she looks at it and goes, yes.
Yeah. She's just cool people, man. Like, practical jokester. And Sue's like one of these people who can like speak in movie quotes. She can like probably have an entire conversation in like movie quotes and song lyrics. Like,
nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I'm talking like the Humpty Dance song lyrics, like not like like she's down for the cause.
So shout out to the bubble. Shout out to you guys doing an excellent job, because from the whole social justice thing to the actual playing ball inside that bubble, a lot of people being away from family and friends for extended amount of time, you guys get an A+. The WNBA, especially for how they handle things from A to Z, they got it right. No gray area, no opinion. They got it all the way right. I know you're proud of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it was just a huge sacrifice on everybody's part. And there was no really other option but to get it right.
Yeah.
Just with like the health implications, the financial implications. There were just so many things that were at stake, right now. And every league was watching us. Every league was watching us to see, well, are they going to screw it up? And and between the WNBA, the NBA, and the NHL, we're the only leagues that got it right. Everybody else has been, here's a case here, here's a case there, here's a case there. And like, in order to, and COVID's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Right. And you got to really figure out how to manage this, because it's, you have to figure it out, because it's not going anywhere. And if this is the way in which how things are going to be in the future, then, everybody's league structured, financial statements, everything's going to change. Everything's going to change.
Well, speaking of that, are you going back to the bubble?
No, it's over.
Next season.
I doubt it. And that's at a later date. I'll be able to explain why.
Okay. We're going to hold you to that, Ashley. We're going to be like, we're going to get Ashley.
Yeah.
You got a question for Ashley?
Yeah, man. It looked like she's at home getting mom's home cooking. That's why she ain't going back to the bubble.
Man, you already know. Mom's has been spoiling me.
Tell mom for me, I'm sorry.
Yo,
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. We apologize. We were wrong, and Mom was right. I should have known better. Moms are always right.
As always.
And WNBA, we know the WNBA, the W has to stand for Warriors, because y'all, listen.
No doubt.
Y'all put it down.
Didn't I tell y'all Seattle was going to win?
Yeah, man. Y'all put it down all the time. But listen, let me go back to this New York thing. Once in New York, one thing about New York fans, once you play for a New York team, we want to claim you as ours forever. How do you feel about when other players, or even the coach, even the rumors that a New York coach would go coach another team? And then the bad thing about it is, when a New Yorker leaves and goes to another team or something, they do better than they did in New York. It's stressful. It's stressful for us. So what are your feelings about a New Yorker going a good coach, a really good coach? I wish we could have held on to going to coach another team.
Man, I will say this. Like I believe, like, I love New York. I've always have loved New York. You know, but New York is a stressful place to be. You know, when you're playing, it's hard. It's hard to play there. You know, just because, you know, New Yorkers demand excellence and they want to win, and they'll let you know about it, and they don't hold anything back, you know, which is what I love about it. You know, I don't mind it, but, you know, but not everybody can take that pressure. You know, when you come to New York, especially if you go to the Knicks or the Yankees, you know, you go there, it's like, when are we winning? We're going to do this now, and this needs to happen ASAP. Do you feel me? Yo, do you feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Like it needs to. It's like, son, what I'm saying, you know, like you get the whole get up.
Ashley, let me ask you
for sure.
Ashley, let me ask you a question. We know, you know, I want to go back to the Lakers. We know the Lakers got some opt-outs, but, you know, I wanted to ask you actually a two-part question. We think Anthony Davis is going to opt in. Rajon Rondo, Caldwell Pope, JaVale McGee, and Avery Bradley, all players that are expected to either come back in or not. But before I even ask you that question, I will first want to see what are your thoughts about who are those returning. But because of COVID, does Avery Bradley get a ring? You know, because this
yeah.
So it's guaranteed he's going to definitely get a ring because he opted out.
But he was an integral part of them being in the position that they were in to even get there. So there's, you know, and I believe Rob Pelinka had already called him like immediately when they were celebrating, saying, you know, this is your ring too. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to get a ring.
Okay,
you
so
know, he deserves it.
Of those players who I just mentioned, do you expect any of them? Because word is this morning is that Rajon Rondo is going to be looking all around to see, because, you know, obviously his stock went from here to it went way up after this. So I guess the thing is, do you see all of them coming back? Do you see the Lakers losing some pieces? And with the pieces that they may lose, you see them repeating?
Well, you know, it's difficult to say. I mean, Rondo's always been like a super smart player. So this isn't anything really new, in my opinion. And he's always, every team that he's been on, he's always made them better. I mean, look at a couple years ago when he was with AD and the Pelicans. You know, they were rolling. You know, and if it wasn't for DeMarcus Cousins getting hurt, you know, I feel like they would have made a really good push in the playoffs, you know, a couple years ago. So, you know, with him, it's a toss-up. You know, most players that are towards the end of their career, you know, now he has 2 rings. So most players are at the end of their career, they're looking to cash out, you know, before they can, you know, before they hang it up. So, you know, and his stock is very high. So I wouldn't doubt that he would get a really good contract. And the way that the Lakers are kind of structured right now, I don't know if they can afford, you know, his market value.
Right. See, honestly, I don't think he's going to return because exactly what you said. I think he's going to be so much money that they won't be able to fit all the pieces. But I mean, before I ask my next question, I'm like, Talent, you got a question for him? Because I got one more question I want to ask him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I want to go. I'm going to keep it NBA right now. So we always been talking about the whole LeBron thing. And you heard LeBron in his post-game speech, like, just give me my damn respect.
Right.
So, and it's funny because on this show, I think we give him his respect until we start to compare over the decades and the players, like the Kareems, the Jordans, the Matt. So then it becomes a different argument. But as far as LeBron, to you, where does this put him in that Rushmore, in that whole NBA player Rushmore, in your opinion?
Right. I mean, I am a Jordan fanatic. So as much as my mom loves LeBron, that's how much I love Jordan. So like for me, I can't see him surpassing Jordan, you know, but I think LeBron is, this is me, like for me, it's Jordan 1, Kobe's 1B, and then it's LeBron, you know, so like, and I love LeBron, you know, and he's going to have probably every record before it's all said and done with. He's probably going to have every record, and he's going to make it very difficult for people to argue against him, you know, and I think that's part of what he was saying, like, you know, give me my respect, because I mean it is deserved, you know. And then the things that he does off the court are just, you can't, it's incomparable, really. So and it's a difference. Like, you don't really know what other players do. Like, no one knew that Kobe was funding people, you know, hospital bills. No one knew that, you know, until he passed. So there could be things that people, you know, who are just as talented. There's only a couple of people who are just as talented as LeBron, but in Jordan's case, for example, like, you don't know the stuff that he's done. You know, only a certain amount of things have come up recently, but who knows the things that he's done in the past, or who he supported politically, or, you know, he's always been pretty mum about things like that. But I'm sure, you know, he's done some work as well.
I like the way you put it. 1B and 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Kobe was my guy, man.
Yeah. I listen. Here's the thing. A few years back, when Golden State was on their run, it seemed that the NBA was changing. Everybody thought that they would go small ball with the 3-point shots and stuff like that. I always thought that it was good, but I didn't think that it was good for everybody to try and do that, because they didn't have the personnel to be able to pull it off.
Right.
Did you think the Lakers proved that the old way is still one of the best ways to be able to win an NBA championship? Because pretty much they beat up on everybody that tried to play small ball, and they had all of the superstar bigs. Do you think the NBA will sort of level out, you know what I mean, a little bit of the small ball, and then give the bigs the opportunity to play where they're strongest, like in the paint? Right.
So let's go back to Golden State for a second, because you mentioned them, and here's the thing about Golden State. We'll talk about Golden State with Kevin Durant. So Golden State with Kevin Durant had 3 of probably the most prolific shooters known to mankind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with KD, Steph, and Clay. Like, the 3 of them together it's a cheat code. It was a straight up cheat code. And so, like, there's just, like, teams are lucky to have one shooter like that at that caliber, but to have 3, it made it pretty much, you know, impossible to guard. But here's the thing as well. Every time in the playoffs, what happens in the playoffs every year? The game slows down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you grind it out. It becomes in the post, and typically people who have the better post game, the teams that have better post players, not necessarily post players, but post game. So it could be KD in the post, it could be LeBron in the post, it could be AD in the post. But typically those teams are the ones that usually grind it out when it comes to, like, get a bucket, you know. And then another thing about Golden State, what people fail to realize, yes, they shot so many threes. Yes, they were doing all these things beyond the arc, but they shot more 2s than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people fail to, like, see that they were, like, shooting, their mid-range game was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right. That's a great point, Ashley. That's a great point. That's a great point. Can I ask you a last question? Our last question, because I see the time moving up on us. Now that Giannis's brother won a championship for the Lakers, does that put pressure on my man Giannis to stay in Milwaukee, or put pressure on him to leave to go to Golden State? What's your thought process on that? Because you know they're gonna be at home, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, you know what I mean?"
Yo, Thanksgiving gonna be a little different this year, huh?
Yes.
He's gonna be like,
gonna be a little different.
You both talked about MVP and everything else in the league and everything, but I got a ring. You know,
yeah, right. It's gonna be a little different.
Right. What's your thought process on that? You think he's gonna stay, or then he's gonna go?
You know, it's hard. It's hard to say, you know, because Giannis seems like if I were Giannis, I would leave. You know, really? I would leave. I would leave because I feel like they just don't have enough, and the personnel that they have, I feel as though, like, they're untrustworthy. And when it comes to, like, being in the crucial times in the playoffs, like, they have a history of being untrustworthy in those times. So, you know, if I were, like, I think a couple of things that happened I'll let that just ring out. So a couple things that happened, I feel like not signing Brogdon was huge for Milwaukee.
Yes.
I mean, that was just because he was, rookie of the year, made big shots, played defense,
Right.
and I feel like
That's the NBA calling, by the way.
it probably is. It probably is. Call from. You need to be on the call right now. Like, what are you doing? So they and I feel like, as much money as they pay Bledsoe, he underperforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the reason as to why that consistently happens, but they need him to be a really top-notch player in the playoffs, and it hasn't happened.
Right. Well, Ashley, thank you for taking out the time. We greatly appreciate you. And I know you're gonna come back so you drop us some gems again, especially.
I got you.
We greatly appreciate it. Before you go, can you tell everybody out there how to follow you? If you got anything else that's going on, since you're back from the bubble and everything else.
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Ashley Battle, Twitter, The Battle Zone. I want to change my name to Ashley Battle on Twitter too, but I'm gonna lose my blue check. I'm not gonna get it back. So I just keep it at The Battle Zone.
Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and don't forget to tell Mom we apologize. We're gonna send you some merch. We're gonna send Mom some merch. We're gonna send y'all some stuff.
Nice.
As an apology, as a symbol of our.
You better have a nice letter in there for her apologizing. A nice letter.
Definitely say hello and apologize to Mom from us until she gets the 10-page apology letter.
Oh, I will. She'll be expecting it. Trust me when I tell you that. She was like, you tell all those comedians, every last single one of them, that they owe me an apology.
Thank you so much, sis. We love you, Queen.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank
You
you.
too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put together a nice box, man, on behalf of all of us. Write a nice letter.
Make sure you do that immediately.
Oh, no, that's going out tomorrow. I can't believe, dude, I'm watching the game in real time and see the text. And I'm like, oh, what is Ashley talking about? I'm just happy she hit me. And the first thing was like, Mom said, I said, dang.
You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna lighten to all of us. I don't even remember when we last interviewed her. I don't remember where we were in the playoffs. I don't even know if we had
we were still talking about the Clippers.
Oh, I remember
we thought the Clippers were gonna win.
Remember, Ashley was sitting basically in that same place in that part of the house, and Mom came over the shoulder and she said, we was bashing LeBron. That's what the Lakers and LeBron. We didn't think they were gonna get past the Clippers and all that. And she leaned in, was like, what? And we
the funny thing is Mom's made us all look foolish right now, right?
She sure did.
But don't they always?
Yes, they do. She made us all look foolish, like we know what we talk about. She came with us. Let me cut that in. No,
you should know better than to go against a black mom, man. That never seems to work out.
If we don't know nothing by now, we know you don't do that against moms. You just don't do that. Anyway, we gotta get ready to bring in my man, Mr. Rodney Perry, because it's about that time when we sit there and say, okay, Mr. Rodney Perry, do you agree or disagree? As he agree or disagree what we talk about.
I'll be looking for my box as well, my apology letter as well.
You got that.
I'll be looking for my apology
I still
letter.
gotta tell you about that dollar. I owe you. I keep forgetting. I forgot about that.
You can pass it right down the screen right now.
Okay. I'll do that.
Frank. Let's go on record. Rodney Perry box seats. After the Heat managed to scrape up a win, Jimmy Butler playing out his mind, triple-double. Frank Holder. And I don't know, maybe the Heat got a shot. I said, a shot for what? To win it all. I said, hold on, Frank.
Here it goes.
You think the Heat gonna win 2 games for the Lakers win 1? Yes. I said, you want to bet? You want to put money on it? I ain't got no money to put on that. I said, come on, baby, $1. tribute to Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. Frank said, "Yeah, bet." I said, "Bet." You know what I'm gonna do with that $1? I'm gonna put it in a frame. I got my frame right here.
Yeah.
And that's why I go bet. You all see, this is why
I got
go
my
bet.
frame. I'll put Frank Dollar in there with a caption that says, "I'm smarter than you." All right. Y'all talked. First of all, Ashley, great interview, guys. Great interview. Y'all got in some WNBA. I mean, I watched those games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I watched those games, and I gotta be honest, I don't like all the WNBA players.
Right.
I don't like the real good ones because they miss too many shots for me.
Yeah.
The good ones, they're like that Sue Bird, your girl Ashley, they never miss.
Be nice.
You know, but it's a couple of them out there that look like they'd rather be, you know, somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to get that pension. That's all it is, right? Trying to play long enough to get that pension.
It's none of my business. All right. The news, Van Gundy. First of all, Van Gundy been in Houston already.
Mm-hmm.
This is not his first time going to Houston, so he's a really good choice for Houston to come back to Houston. I know some people want to bring up his Knicks history, but this is not his first time going to Houston, and they're comfortable with him. They know him, and I like him going back into the coach's position. I think one of the things, and I think Fig even alluded to this, we watched the Lakers this year really focus on their defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I don't think they're gonna get rid of nobody. Well, they're gonna get rid of somebody, but they're not their main guys. Not Harden. Why would you get rid of Harden?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still giving you 40 points a night. I mean, who get that up?
Well, if he's giving you 40 and you're only getting 80, there's a problem.
Who gives up 40 points? For what? All right. So you don't get rid of Harden. You don't get rid of Westbrook. You bring in a Serge Ibaka or somebody like that. You need a defensive stopper, a rim protector, you know, and you're going to change the culture. You know, what I talked about before, cities make a difference. I've been to Houston. Houston be running for the playoffs, trying to win. The city don't give a damn. And that bleeds into the players. I mean, you playing your heart out, trying to get a championship, and the city like, who?
You ain't never lied. He's not lying.
Like I mean, I say stuff about the Knicks, but New York support their team.
Yeah,
no doubt.
They live and die. Houston don't. New Orleans don't. Certain cities just don't support their team like that. So I'm excited about Van Gundy in Houston. If that happens, that's going to be a good look. Will Tyronn Lue go with him? I wouldn't put money on it.
Yeah, Ty Lue like stay at the Clippers, right?
And it's Tyronn, not Tyrone.
You said Tyrone.
His name is not Tyrone.
You said Tyrone. I said Ty.
You better call Tyrone.
Call him. So we didn't talk no NFL.
We getting there.
We didn't talk no NFL. The game last night was crazy. Good game.
We getting there.
No, I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't watching. I'm getting tore up in fantasy. I don't even want to see no football now.
My boy Justin Herbert balled out last night, but that's another.
Only thing I know about the game last night is Frank going, "Oh my God, good game," and Fig going, "Way to go, Saints." That's all I know. I couldn't bring myself to watch.
Y'all was laughing too.
I was gonna lie. Act like I watched it, but I was like, you know what? I ain't got to do that. I do think I might be winning our picks this week though, because I picked some long shots and they came through.
Yeah,
You did.
I picked some long shots. Y'all
want the numbers now?
No. Tomorrow. There's a game tonight. Tomorrow.
All right, yeah, there is a game tonight. Yeah.
It's a game tonight?
Yeah.
Okay,
Bills and
Yo,
Bills.
how about this, guys? When will the NFL shut down? How many weeks?
I say 6.
You think it's
5
going
to
to take
6.
6 weeks for the whole thing to shut down?
That's what I think. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think Tyler says they're not going to shut down? Frank say 6 week Fig?
About maybe 4 to 6, somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks.
Listen, it's a possibility it won't shut down. There's too much money involved. There's too much money
A
involved.
lot of money involved.
Yeah.
I say they might go 3 more weeks. Let me tell you something. I need them to shut down because I want my fantasy money back. If any NFL, anybody looking, listening to Box Seats, man, pull the plug on this season, man. This ain't good. People getting hurt. You done got Dak hurt. People getting hurt every week. Man, we got to rethink this whole. You can't put all these big people in the bubble.
Yeah.
But all right. That's all I got, man. Y'all didn't cover too much. Big shouts out to Ashley. Shouts out to the Lakers. Huh? I'm sorry, Brian, I'm still over here. I'm almost done, guys. Me and Doe kicked it last night. It was crazy. We went to Magic City. I got him some wings, and I was just surprised they came to Atlanta. And so all my guys down here, we had a good time, and champagne.
So Rodney, you
Yeah.
only went to Magic City for the Sweet Lou wings?
Of course.
You didn't go to the champagne room, did you?
No, sir. But they did allow us to bring our own champagne in that day.
It looked good.
All right. Well, since Rodney's done with his segment, and before we talk about some NFL, because I definitely want to jump into NFL, let me ask Stack. What's up, Stack? Check the back to Stack.
What's up, fellas? Y'all had your facts straight today.
Yeah, because we didn't do too much news stuff and everything else. So we interviewed Ashley.
Ashley was on point. Good, great interview.
Yeah, we were trying to come in and everything else. Well, now since I got everybody on it, man.
Stack, is it Tyron Lue or Tyrone Lue?
It's Tyron.
Tyron.
You straightened him out. Rodney. Tell Brian I said what up.
All right, so let's talk about the game.
Tyrone mixed with Ron.
Let's talk about the game last night. The NFL game last night happened between the Saints and the Chargers and everything else. My question for you guys is I've been on this Justin Herbert train for a minute, so I'm gonna start with Talent, work my way around. Talent, do you think Justin Herbert is the real deal? And I will preface this by saying this to you: they should be 5-0 right now instead of 1-4. I'm gonna just throw that to you. So, anyway, what do you think, Talent?
Well, I mean, Frank, this is football, man. It takes a lot of pieces to come together to manufacture wins. I keep telling you that. When you was jumping on this young boy's bandwagon, I told you it's the year of the old new guy. So the young quarterback playing against the old quarterback, you see what happened at the end of that game.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I'll say this. Of those losses they got, a lot of that was on the coach. A lot of coaching decisions made, like that big decision, especially the call and the play against the Chiefs, which is the biggest one that blew the game for them. But anyway, Fig, do you think Justin Herbert's the real deal?
Listen, man, I think the kid got a lot of talent, but here's my thing. Everybody's giving this kid flowers, and he lost all but one game that he ever played. And I mean, they usually put that on the quarterback. If this was Cam Newton or some other player of color, they wouldn't be giving him a pass like this, rookie or not. So I don't want to get his kid all these flowers and stuff like that when he's 1-4.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? I need to see him get some W's before I shine the light on him. Shine the light on him.
Rodney, what you think? You think Justin?
Well, first of all, he's not 1-4. He's only played a game and a half.
How you figure that?
He came in. He came in when my man got hurt.
Yeah.
Played the rest of that game, and he played last night.
No,
he played all the games since Justin hurt. What's his name? Tyrod Taylor got hurt game 1. Beginning of the game 2, actually, he's been playing all the rest of the game since. So he played.
How many games taking now?
He played 5 games.
So he played 4.
All right, 4.5.
Okay. What do you think?
3.5.
Whatever. Do you think he's the real deal or not?
I think this is the thing about the NFL. The NFL is an amoeba. So when we ain't never seen you, you can have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
But once we get tape on your ass, as Tyler say, once we start doing our homework, you are in freaking trouble.
Hold up.
Is he the real deal?
Hold up. The word for the day is amoeba.
Snack, what you
Right.
think?
You know what
Hey,
amoeba is? Amoeba is an organism that's constantly adapting.
Mhm.
But anybody don't know.
I feel like he reminds me of like a young Alex Smith. I agree. We wouldn't be giving him as much props if it was a brother that was 1-4. He is a gamer, but I still haven't seen nothing special. If there's no W, then winning is the standard, right, Fake?
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go.
Win.
All right.
W's.
My last question. We didn't talk about the Chiefs because they lost it. We can do about that tomorrow and everything else. But yesterday, the news dropped that Atlanta fired the head coach and their GM. And I know I'm gonna start with you, Rodney Perry. Do you think that they need to get rid of the QB right now? Because he's worth a lot and he's taking up a lot of his salary. What do you think they should do with the QB over at Atlanta?
I mean, box seats. I think we called it probably 10 days ago.
Mhm.
We talked about coaches that should go. And I don't know, one of us said that Dan Quinn should go, and the GM over in Atlanta, and it happened. They did the right thing. I don't think they should pull the trigger on the quarterback just yet. You get a new coach in there, change the culture. Atlanta's a good football city. It's a good NFL city. They support their team, so they got the city behind them. So I wouldn't pull the trigger on the QB after getting rid of my GM and my coach. I wouldn't do it.
Stack, what you think? Stack, what you think?
Good riddance.
Exactly.
Okay, those are two Atlanta guys because they.
And let me tell you why Atlanta should have got rid of the coach the day they lost to Dallas on that onside kick. They should have fired him right there. They should have brought him in the locker room and said, listen, clean out your locker. You got to go.
What you think? What you think?
Well, I'm saying like this, man. I said 2 weeks ago, get a guy a couple more games. You gave him a couple more games. Time to go. Now the quarterback is different. I agree. Right? Another quarterback, another culture, another system in there. See what he
Okay. All right. Now, there's one other QB who's doing horribly right now, and that's Philip Rivers. He's not coming up to what he should be doing or anything else right now. So my last question of the day, I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna start with Stack this time and work my way right back. Should the Colts get rid of Philip Rivers and get him out of there and then start Jacoby Brissett? Because that brother's sitting on the bench and he is a gamer. So what do you think they should do right now, Stack? What you think?
I'm a big fan of Jacoby. Obviously, came up through the Patriot system, so yeah, they can go ahead and get rid of Phil. He's washed. You know what I'm saying? So we need to move in the right direction and get Jacoby back in there.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that one. Go ahead, Rodney. What you think?
I mean, I'm not confident with the line play out there, and why put my young guy out there and my line ain't right? You know what I mean? He gonna get tore up too. Let me tell you, I don't care how good a quarterback you are. If you're on the ground, you are substandard.
That's a great point. They ain't got no good offensive line either.
They don't have no good offensive line. You gonna take and put that boy out there?
Rick, what you think?
I'm like, Phil, what's all this losing, man? You can't be losing like that, Phil. You ain't playing football where you supposed to be, Phil. You gonna lose with a guy named Phil. Ain't an NFL team ever won with a quarterback named Phil.
Yeah, hold on.
48 hours, I love it.
That's terrible, because you got a Super Bowl with Phil Simms. Don't do that.
That's true.
Don't do that.
That's true.
You're a Giants fan and you got Phil Simms. Don't do that.
My bad.
First of all,
bad.
This is the year of the elder quarterback. I don't think you get rid of him. I think it's a culture thing. I mean, everybody has bad days. I would stick out with because of his rapport. I'll stick out with him a couple more games.
You would? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think right now the big everybody doing is tanking for Trevor and everything else. And Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. I see him landing maybe at the Jets or maybe at Atlanta. But if Trevor Lawrence goes to Atlanta, that would change. If Atlanta keeps losing and Trevor Lawrence ends up landing in Atlanta, that could change the entire landscape on the NFC side, because this dude is the real deal. But Anyway, I'm gonna ask the two Atlanta guys first. Would you guys be welcome Trevor Lawrence in there right now, or would you rather stick out with Matt Ryan, for the rest of the season? Because Matt Ryan might not be the problem, might be the coach. I don't know. Rob, let me start with you since you're the Atlanta guy.
You said me?
Yeah, I'm sorry with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I would stick it out with Matt Ryan. I would definitely run the ball more, take some of that pressure off of Matt Ryan. You got Todd Gurley. You got a decent running staff. Run these guys. They've been passing every down.
Right.
That's the coach. That's coaching. And so we're gonna change the whole philosophy of the team and get some play action involved, get some guys open, and then get vertical with my man Julio. That you gotta run to set up the pass. We just pass.
Right. Well, I want to get this last question because the time's running up. I'm gonna start this last question up there with you, Talent. Yesterday we were talking about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott seems like he's doing okay now. He came out the surgery doing okay and everything else. And yesterday I asked you, do you think Dak Prescott stays or do you think he leaves and everything else? Now, after the news that spread out and they've been talking, Jerry Jones came out this morning and said something that he was flattering and everything else. If you're Dak Prescott and you hear what the GM said and the ownership said, are you happy with what the responses have been and you stay? Same question, but a little bit more if you hear the responses and everything else. What do you think now if you're Dak Prescott?
I don't think it matters what Jerry Jones says as a statement. I think when you don't give me my money, you made the biggest statement you could have gave. So you could come out and say, hey, he had nice kids. We like his dogs. I give two shits about that. You want to give me a statement. You show me you appreciate me. You know what I mean? Like LeBron and them said it the best. It was like, yo, y'all love to watch us play and support us and value my life.
Right. Fig, what you think?
Yo, man, let me tell you something. Jerry Jones should know better than anybody else on this planet. He's one of a handful of people, and we call them billionaires. And billionaires know better than anybody else that talk is cheap. You understand? Stop with all this lip service and write them checks, Jerry. Talk is cheap, Jerry. I don't want to hear no lip service from you. Not them old lips you got. Give me my money, Jerry. Show me the money.
Right.
Show me the money. Yo, I personally think Dak is gonna stay. I think he loves Dallas. I think he liked being there. Even with the injury, I think he's gonna stick it out. I don't know if it behooves him to go somewhere else because where? Where and who's got the money that he really wants? He may have to stick it out in Dallas after this injury.
Well, Zach, what you thought?
Well, I think they gave him the $31 million this year because he's franchised. I think they have rights to him next season too. So if he catch another $31 million while he recovers, and then we'll see if he signs, 2 years removed from this injury. The good thing is that he got injured at the beginning of the season. A lot of the Cowboys fans I know was like, oh, he should have signed. I'm like, nah, he's cool. He's about to collect $62 million while he heals up. And then he can sign, even if it's a mediocre long-term deal with Dallas, and all is well.
Actually, the salary cap thing, the franchise tag moves up to 37 at the beginning of next year. So he's going to be good.
So he's technically making more money than if he did a long contract.
Right.
Yeah, with the franchise tag, yep.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. So he's going to be
Here's the thing, man. Right now, Mount Vernon High School, JV will sign him. No questions asked. Right away.
All right, y'all. That's the show. We got to get ready to roll up out of here. We got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We got to go through our picks. We got to talk about a couple of more developments that's going to happen in the NBA. We got to talk about Major League Baseball. We got a lot of stuff to cover tomorrow. But Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow.
LeBron James, the GOAT.
That too. That's it. We can talk about that too. Talent,
LeBron James is the Billy Goat. Find me on Instagram, Talent the Comedian. Twitter, it's just comedy, man. Facebook, King Talent Harris. You know what it is, Fig?
I'm everywhere, baby. Comedian Fig. I'm all over the place. I'm in Talent's page. I'm in Stack's page. I be hanging out with Rodney Perry in Atlanta. I be everywhere, baby. If you looking for me, you can find me.
Roddy.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Roddy Perry. Roddy Perry live on all social media. The website is roddyperry.com. And next week, Chicago at Riddles. Chicago Riddles next weekend. So
Yes, sir.
rock with your boy.
There you go. Zach.
Y'all can find me at #1 for the NFL picks for box seats. Y'all can also find me at Stackinova on Twitter and Instagram.
You know how he did that? That was slick. I like that. That was good. This is Frank Holden. You're listening to you're watching the box seat. You threw me, Stack. You threw me with that joke.
The last night, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You got me.
Hey, yo, shout out to Tyrone and Luke.
Terrence
All
Lou.
right, so tomorrow, 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock. It's the Humor Mill. The show's called The Box Seats. The Humor Mill channel. Upload us, download us. And actually call your cable service provider. We'll be back tomorrow. Sometime this week. Watch for the flyer. Sometime this week, we are going to have a special edition of Box Seats. You guys right here, we're going to have a debate with the GOAT. We're supposed to have a debate. Can't do it today. But we are going to have this debate. We're going to advertise. Fig is going to be Fig. You for Jordan? That's the GOAT?
No doubt, all day, every day.
Alan, you for Jordan as the GOAT? I guess that means yeah.
I think so.
Stack is for the LeBron as the GOAT.
LBJ.
That's the GOAT. And Rodney Perry, where you at? Rodney Perry.
All I know is the GOAT ain't nobody from New York.
All right, y'all. That's it. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Jordan was born in New York.
He was born in Brooklyn, baby.